QA Ninja.
What's going on, everyone? I'm the QA Ninja. Welcome to the channel. Now you may be asking yourself, with all the mini console crazes out there and the Sega Genesis Mini being a success, is the Sega Saturn Mini even possible? Well, it is, and I'm gonna show you how, right here, right now. It's the QA Ninja Retro Dude. It's the QA Ninja Retro Dude. When the Sega Saturn dropped in Japan, November 22nd, 1994, it was the successor to the already successful Sega Genesis. Yes, PlayStation gave it a run for its money, ultimately leading to the demise of the Sega Saturn, but there's no questioning the beauty of its graphics. Boasting 8 core processors, its advanced architecture has led to many beautiful games. Unfortunately, it's also been challenging to emulate over the years. That is up until now. So I'm going to show you how to make this all possible and get your own Sega Saturn Mini up and running. Let's get right into it. Alright, so let's go over what you're going to be needing in terms of hardware. First, you're going to need an Odroid XU4 SPC. More details on that later on. You'll also be needing an SD card, class 10 I would say, 64 gigabytes at least, but I use 128 gigs to fit a lot more. You'll need a USB to transfer files to the SD card, ROMs of course. You're going to be needing a USB controller. You're going to need also 5 volt 4 amp power supply for the Odroid, and of course a Sega Saturn 3D case, and I'll give you more details about that shortly soon as well. Okay, so if you haven't already, you want to download Etcher. This is what you're going to be needing to burn the image onto your SD card. Once you download Etcher, you're going to be getting the install, and then you're going to want to agree to the installation. It's a very quick process, a very lightweight application, but you'll be needing it for this. Next thing you're going to want to do is head over to the Retro Arena website and download their image for retropie. They did an awesome job allowing it to be usable on the Odroid XU4. Very easy to use. So go ahead, go down here and click on this image and then download that. Alright, so the next thing we're going to want to do is open up Etcher after we've installed it, and then bring the image that we downloaded from Retro Arena on over, and then we're going to actually burn it onto the SD card. So let's go ahead, select the image, and then select the SD card, and then continue, and then you're going to want to click on Flash, continue. It's going to take some time. Okay, so to power our Sega Saturn Mini, we're going to be using the Odroid XU4 as the brains of the whole thing. And here are some of the specs, including a Samsung Exynos 5422 and a Cortex octa-core CPU. This thing is very powerful and will handle very much a lot of what we throw at it. Alright, and here we have the beautiful Odroid XU4. This single board computer is a beast. It can handle N64 very well, and a lot of Sega Saturn games run fairly well on here. As you see, that's where the SD card would be going. Got your HDMI port as well. Highly recommended if you're looking to run anything from Sega Saturn to Naomi and a Thomas Wave. Super awesome SBC this is. For the controller, I'm using the 8-bit DOE M30. Similar button layout to the Sega Saturn, and it's known to be compatible with the Yabaus Sega Saturn emulator. So this option was a no-brainer for me. Really good controller. I'll put the link in the description below. And of course, you can't have a Sega Saturn Mini without the Sega Saturn Mini case. None of this would be possible without 8-bit Flashback's awesome work. Be sure to show him some love. I'm going to be leaving a link below for him, as well as the files you'll be needing for this, so you can go ahead and print this on your own. Now you may be thinking, but QA Ninja, to print these out you need a 3D printer and those cost $1 million. And you're right, but don't worry about it, I've got you covered for that too. So I came across this website called Etsy where you can actually have someone print the 3D files for you. This gentleman by AJ Custom 3D Prints did an awesome job on mine for under 30 bucks shipped and everything for the Odroid XU4. And you can actually have anybody on here that, if you search for 3D prints. Yes, let's talk about the ROM files types that you'll be looking for here. So there's two different styles. There's the true rip and then there's the bin queue. The true rip style, which I'll show you right now, might be the most common form that you'll find when you're Googling for your ROMs. I can't tell you where to get them, but Google will definitely be your best friend in this search. And this is the true rip style with the queue file there, the most important one of course, but you're gonna need all of them. And then there's the bin queue, where there's a whole boatload of bin files, and then there's the queue file. You're gonna need all of this to be transferred over. Okay, in order to play the Sega Saturn Mini ROMs, you need the BIOS bin files. So I put that together in my GitHub repo, link down below. Just click on the Sega Saturn Mini, and here will also be the 3D print files from 8-bit Flashback as well if you need those to print out. So here are the BIOS files. You just want to click on download here, and then you're gonna need 7-zip or WinRAR to extract them. But I'm actually gonna go ahead and open it directly so you can at least see all the BIOS files you need. So if you don't download it directly from here, you can actually Google them as well. But these are all the BIOS files that I put together, including European PAL version and the Japanese, so you can play different games outside the US. And I'm gonna show you next where to put them, along with the ROMs as well. Okay, so first time you're gonna wanna put your SD card into your Odroid and power it up. You'll be running Retro Arena retropie on the Odroid XU4. And you wanna make sure you insert your USB also, because right now we are going to go ahead and transfer these files over. Is this your first time powering your Odroid running Retro Arena retropie? What you're going to want to do is press start and configure your controller. Right now I'm going to go straight to options or retropie depending on your image setup. And then you're going to want to scroll all the way down until you see file manager. Now nobody has done this on YouTube yet, showing this method of transferring files rather than using Wi-Fi. I figure this is like a very easy way to do it also, because you don't need a Wi-Fi dongle or to connect to Ethernet for this. So you're just gonna need to plug in your USB keyboard, and you're just gonna wanna go up here, hit enter, go down to media, hit enter. Then you wanna go to USB, hit enter. And then you're gonna wanna go first, I'm gonna show you the BIOS, where to put the BIOS files for Sega Saturn. Okay, hit tab here, hit and go all the way down to retropie, and then go down to the BIOS folder, and then you're gonna just hit tab, and then here you're just gonna hold the shift button and then hold down to select all of them. When they're all selected, they're yellow, and then you're gonna want to hit F5 to copy them over to the other side into the retropie BIOS folder. I'm not gonna do it because I already have them in there, but just to kind of show you. So I'm just gonna cancel out of here, and I'm gonna go back up, and I'm actually gonna show you how to copy over the ROMs. This I'm actually going to do. So I'm gonna tab over again, go back into retropie, go down to ROMs. Then I'm gonna look for the Saturn folder, where I'm gonna put the Saturn ROMs. As you see, I already got some Saturn ROMs here. So I'm gonna tab over, we're gonna copy over Sonic 3D. Hold down shift, the arrow button at the same time to highlight everything, and then I'm gonna hit F5. And then it's copying everything over now onto the other side. This couldn't take some time depending how big the ROM file is. And it's good to go. Again, you don't need Ethernet or a Wi-Fi dongle to copy these files over. This is the way I do it. So let's take you over. Once you hit F10, go back. Then you want to quit and then restart emulation station. And the games will now be located in the respective folders. And now I'm just going to take you and boot up a couple games so you can see how the Odroid handles these bad boys. First up, we got Virtua Fighter 2, one of my all-time favorite games. I'm actually using a low resolution Yabouse emulator to handle the 3D games that comes with Retro Arena. Tends to work a little bit better, and so you can kind of see how it works. A little bit of gameplay here for you. Beautiful graphics, of course. I feel like Sega Saturn never gets enough credit for how beautiful and awesome their 3D games really are. And of course, my other favorite game here, Panzer Dragoon. Iconic, amazing soundtrack, amazing story, amazing graphics. Definitely a super classic here. And as you see, it's running pretty smoothly. High FPS rating, I would say, on this. No screen tear, so it's running smooth again on a low resolution Yabouse. And here you go, some Daytona USA. If you want to kind of get an idea of how it runs on the sports games. Again, the Odroid, it handles these like a boss. It really is a beast when it comes down to these things. So I can definitely appreciate for the price that it's worth and the low form factor, it's worth it. And of course, Sega Saturn is known for being a 2D monster. So here is some X-Men vs. Street Fighter. One of my favorite games. Beautiful 2D. This is definitely one of the games that was much better on the Saturn than it was for the PlayStation. And of course, it runs smooth. Great gameplay. Guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave it below. I'll try to help any way I can. In the meantime, I need you all to do me a favor. Karate chop that like button and subscribe. To my 80s crew, to my 90s crew, to all my supporters, I appreciate you. Thanks. Peace.